Here we go. Here we go. It is Wednesday night, September 17th, 2025. Time for Real Fellas Talk Sports. All right, let me start off tonight by asking all of our studio audience to keep our dear brother Larry Abels in your prayers. He's a little under the weather tonight and cannot join us. So the voice of reason, things could get out of hand because the voice of reason is not here tonight.
Yes,
so
indeed.
we are absolutely thinking about you, Brother Larry. You are in our prayers. Well, let me introduce the panel. Let me start off with my favorite Fox News alumni, Mr. David Burnett. How you doing, David?
I'm doing great, and things are going very well here in the Circle City, the sports capital of the world.
There you go. It's a lot happening in the sports capital. 2-0, but we'll get back to that.
Yes, indeed. Yes, we
Chuck Snowden, the longest iron hitter in the golf world. Nobody hits an iron farther than Chuck Snowden. Chuck, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Gregory, you might have found your second calling. You're pretty good at this. How you doing? I'm doing great. It's great to see the fellas. And yes, you're right, Larry. We'll carry it till you get back, and I'm sure we'll hear from him before the night's over. I really do. Some comment of some sort.
Like I said, things get out of hand, so let's go ahead and get out of hand with the NFL. And I ask for your observations. My number one observation is the Colts are 2-0. What in the world is going on? David, what's happening? Give me your NFL observation.
Well, they've got stability at quarterback right now. They've not punted in 2 games. I mean, let me repeat that. Right. They've not punted in 2 games. I think that's an NFL record.
It is for me. It's got to be.
Daniel Jones has been better than advertised. The defense has picked up. They got a new defensive coordinator. Things are looking up. And maybe they're playing for Jim Irsay, the late Jim Irsay, who died this past summer. The Colts are for real. And I know I'm a homer. I don't always cheer for the Colts, but I'm cheering now. Why not? This is the sports capital.
There you go. There you go. Chuck, top line observations in NFL.
And let me make one quick point about the Colts, though.
Please do.
Well, I don't know if we're going to get. So they had a situation where they missed their kick for the winning kick at the end of the game, and the refs, who, by the way, I do notice in these games now, I just noticed the referees more. I don't know if there's something going on, but they are getting more involved, in my humble opinion. The ref threw a flag because the defender for the Broncos came over the top or something. They re-kicked it. He made the field goal, and that's how they won. So they got a little horseshoe, not only on the side of their helmet, but they got one in their pocket too. So good.
You know who's the happiest of all is the field goal kicker, because his head was down when that field goal missed. Right. When he got a second chance, he didn't blow it.
Yeah.
Right.
He did not blow it.
So, but in terms of my observation, in terms of the bigger picture, if you will, 2 things jumped out at me just from a big picture. I mentioned one of them was, I don't know, the referees and pass interferences and holding at critical times and that are killing drives. I don't know. I just noticed the referees more. And the other thing is field goal kickers. Yeah. I got to tell you something, man. I have never seen – they've had 14 made field goal kicks from 55 yards and further out. The guy, Avery, I think his name, or Avery from the Cowboys, he hit one from 64 the other day. I mean, they are just kicking the heck out. I don't know if there's something in the ball or whatever, but I've never seen the distances that these guys are kicking in. And if you're getting the ball at the 35-yard line on the kickoff, you just got to get a couple first downs and you're in field goal.
Well, these kickers are better. They're better now. And I think, we had, I don't know how many years it was when, what's the dude that held the record for many years?
Oh, Dempsey.
Yes. 63 yards.
63 yards. He thumped that ball.
Yeah.
And, we thought that was out of reach, but not anymore.
Not anymore. The kid from Dallas, because I was watching the Dallas Giants game. By the way, what a heck of a game. The kicker for Dallas, he kicked it 64 yards, but he cleared it by 5 or 6 yards. I mean, he could have made that from 70 yards. So anyway, those are two bigger pictures that I've noticed is that the referees are getting a little bit more involved in field goal.
Well, they're bringing these guys from soccer because the guy that kicked for Dallas was a former soccer player.
Oh, was he?
Yes, he was. Yeah. So
and he's very accurate too.
Here's what's interesting. Here's what my favorite part about and I can't believe I'm saying this about the Cowboys. My favorite part about the Cowboys kid making the field goal was the locker room celebration. It was Schottenheimer. I'm telling you, they might be onto something with him. He is energetic, but the celebration they had was just energizing. Here's my number one observation about the NFL after week 2. Quarterbacks. We are in a resurgent quarterback era. So Geno Smith goes to the Raiders, and he gets literally born again. I'm telling you, and I watched the Tampa Bay quarterback. I was ready to throw him out with yesterday's trade.
Baker Mayfield is
Baker
looking
Mayfield
good.
has been born again, and I watched him march that team down the field. And so now I'm looking at Daniel Jones. I'm saying, maybe it really is about the system you're in and the culture and the quarterback coach that you have. Maybe it is something to be said for that, but you can't throw quarterbacks away because they are not so great in a given city, in a given town.
Hey, well, we say, speaking of that, my man Russell Wilson, 450 yards passing. Now, I'm not going to mention the boo-boo at the end.
So we're going to get to that. That's a big topic. I'm glad you said we're going to get to that because that is tricky. That one is really tricky. But, man, did he look good. He was dropping that ball in there. Okay, first question. Staying with quarterbacks. Joe Burrow gets hurt. He's going to be out 3 months. What does this mean for Coach Zach Taylor's future and impact on, first of all, impact on the Bengals, and what does it mean for Coach Zach Taylor's season? David.
I think the Bengals are cheap.
They are.
Let's just start there. So I think Coach Taylor will be just fine. They've been to the Super Bowl with him. They hadn't won any playoff games until he came to the team. So, and I hate saying that, from the previous coach because I liked him. But Cincinnati is a weak spending team. Zach Taylor is going to be fine. Joe Burrow, to be honest with you, I wouldn't play him for the rest of the season. If he comes back 12 weeks from now or 15 weeks from now, I wouldn't play him.
Well, how do you think the Bengals, are they done?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
That's my thought, but
I think so too. The Browning, what's his name? Browning is the era has started. Even though he pulled out the game the other day, I think they won 31-27. He had 3 interceptions in that game. Right. So I don't think they got weapons now on the outside, and their defense is playing a little bit better this year. So they already got 2 wins, but I don't think they're going to be in the mix when it's all said and done.
Well, they should have spent the money on the interior offensive line, and that's the problem. Joe Burrow has been hit more times than any quarterback since he's been in the league, and that's because they're spending on wide receivers, and they've got great wide receivers. Yeah. But if the quarterback is on his ass, the ball's not going to get to the receiver anyway.
So Joe Burrow has had 3 season-ending injuries, and every one has come on a sack. There's no non-contact injuries or torn ACL on a cut. None of that. It's all because he's getting pounded like he's running blindfolded. So for me, if Zach Taylor goes on the bubble, it's not because, first of all, he would be he's either a victim of the GM not getting offensive linemen, or if he's at the helm choosing skilled players over linemen, then maybe he does deserve to go. But I got to tell you, I think he's on the bubble, and it depends on how they do. If they have a horrible season, I think he's got to be on the bubble.
He might get a break because the quarterback goes down. You know what I'm saying?
That's typically what happens, but not always. Okay, next game, Commanders-Packers. What a disaster this was. 2 questions. First, well, let's go with the first one. What were the top 2 reasons the Commanders, the team, the love of my life, my heartthrob, what were the top 2 reasons they lost on Thursday night? Chuck, we'll start with you.
So my 2 is this. Physically, it didn't seem to me that we could stand up to Green Bay. I don't know. I know we rebuilt some things on our offensive line. We added some more defense on our defensive line. I thought we were going to be bigger and tougher. I just didn't think we were physically as good as them. And secondly is the corner that we got from the New Orleans Saints.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I didn't think he.
I don't think he got beat a lot.
Yeah, he's a Stubblefield or something. Or no, maybe ain't stuff. Anyway, the corner is not. He's not stepping up. And then finally, I mean, we got to call it like we see it. Jaden didn't have, he didn't have his best game. Bless his heart. So, there you go. What's up, Kung Fu?
Kung Fu.
Kung Fu.
David, top 2 reasons the Commanders lost.
I don't have any reason for that. I think they just weren't as ready as they should be. And that I'll just kind of leave it at that because I didn't pay that close of attention to that game.
Okay. Well, I will tell you, I thought, first of all, I thought Dan Quinn got absolutely outcoached. I thought LaFleur ran rings around him. Right. And that team, they were not prepared to play. Secondly, Kingsbury's offense had the creativity of a 3rd grader. I just thought the plays that he ran, especially as aggressively as the Packers were playing, there were things that he could have done. He's an offensive genius. He is. And I like this guy. But I just thought for sure there were going to be some things at halftime that they came out with adjustments. Nothing. I mean, they came out with nothing, more of the same, and that just didn't work. Now let's talk about Micah Parsons and Jordan Love. Micah Parsons, give me your observations on him, and is Jordan Love for real? David.
Jordan Love is for real. I've been telling you guys that for years. He's accurate. He's got poise. Micah Parsons, great player, but he's not, it's not like he is Reggie White or Lawrence Taylor like they're making him out to be. In a Green Bay Packers uniform, he looked a little small to me. And I'm not being critical. That's just what I saw. I think he's going to have a fine season. He's on the right team, one of the top teams in the NFL.
Chuck.
I think he's good. Look, they can move him around, which makes the other players even better. He's got incredible pursuit and a way to get to the quarterback. I really like him a lot, and I think he's going to help that team specifically. That was a good acquisition by them. Is he worth $47 million? Everybody tells me don't worry about the money.
Oh, Chuck,
to them, he is. So there you go. Jordan Love. Now here's the deal with Jordan Love for me. Sometimes a quarterback in a system is all you need. And I take that with him. I take the same thing with Brock Purdy. They're not special. They're in a great system. And we'll keep an eye on it over the season. They too pay him top dollar, $55 million or whatever it is a year. I just don't know if he's that kind of guy. I don't think he's that kind of guy. I don't think Tua is that kind of guy. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is that kind of guy.
You're going to put him down with Tua and oh my
Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence is struggling, and
Right.
he's not as good as advertised.
Bad system, bad organization, though. If he
Justin Love is for real. Don't make him into a system quarterback. He's athletic. He moves around in the pocket. He stays in the pocket. He looks down at the receivers, and if they're not there, he can break and run. He's an athlete.
Yeah.
He's worth all of the $54 million a year that he's being paid.
We're going to keep an eye on that. One last thing about the Commanders, they didn't have enough chunk plays. What Jordan Love did do is find guys deep a couple times and got them big chunks of yardage. Jaden completed like 24 passes for 200 yards, which means he averaged about 4 or 5 yards a pass. They just didn't have enough chunk plays. So
I gotta agree with the voice of reason. I gotta agree with the voice of reason. Green Bay's defense is tenacious, and I will tell you, they are capable of shutting teams down. So maybe it wasn't so much that Kingsbury didn't coach a good game. Maybe the defense was just too much for him. Now, let me say this about Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is the fastest edge rusher in pro football. He gets around that edge so fast. I mean, our offensive tackle at one point, he started off in a 3-point stance, then he was in a 2-point stance, then he was just standing up. He was like, look, the only way I'm going to stop this guy is just stand up. Now, I will say, if Arch Manning is worth $7 million a year, then Mike is worth $47 million a year, right? If you're going to give Arch 7, you can't argue about Micah getting 47 just because he's at a premium. He's at one of these quality roles on any team, and when you find one that can make the difference, boy, you got to pay him. Jordan Love, that tight end was open so much. I was starting to wonder if he had on defensive repellent. I
had him on my bench on my fantasy team. I don't know. I didn't even start him because I didn't know who he was. And
nobody knew who he was till Thursday night. He shredded us.
Thanks, Patrick, for joining us, my friend.
My buddy Patrick. Hey, Patrick. Good to join us again. He's a regular viewer.
Hey, one other thing too listen, Washington won on Sunday, had to fly to Green Bay on Wednesday. They were on a short week. Yeah. I really do believe these Thursday night games for teams that have to travel.
It makes a difference. Yeah,
it's tough, man. It's really
it's tough on the body,
and especially against a quality team.
Right.
It's tough.
So we started off talking about quarterbacks and the Giants. How long does it take for Brian Daboll to put Dart in at quarterback? And it has nothing to do with what Russell Wilson is doing. I think it has nothing to do with that. But this man's job is on the line. And if you're going to go down swinging, do you go down with Dart or do you go down with Russell Wilson? Larry, I'm sorry, David.
I would, I'm a big Russell Wilson guy. I'm going to put finger quotes. I discovered Russell when he went to the University of Wisconsin, when he left North Carolina State. He was the best quarterback in college that year, didn't get the accolades that he should have, got drafted in the 3rd round, and immediately became a star with the Seattle Seahawks. So I feel badly about saying this because he played well finally Sunday. But I would go with Jackson Dart. The Giants are not going anywhere. You might as well put the rookie in, see what you have in him. Brian Daboll, he's not a good head coach. Period.
I think that's been proven pretty solidly. Yeah.
He's not a good head coach. He's probably a great offensive coordinator, but he's not a good head coach. And the whole idea of making an offensive coordinator a head coach, too many of these guys don't even pay attention to their defense and don't coach the entire team.
True.
And I think Daboll is probably an example of that.
Chuck.
Again, I think David's on to something. It's something, we talked about the Packers earlier. I'll even throw the 49ers in this group. I'll even throw the Rams in this group. And the Minnesota Viking coach. There's some teams that have these coordinators or these head coaches who are whisperers, quarterback whisperers, and they got the systems and the GMs, and they just know how to run a football program. I don't think the Giants right now are one of those organizations. I just don't think they're doing a really good job in the front office. It's reflecting on the field. I wouldn't make the change yet. Look, man, that's the best we've seen Russ look in a while. And so I'd let it go a few more games and see how this turns out. That was a hell of a game.
It was a great.
It was one of the great games I've seen.
It was unbelievable. But there's something that happened in that game that I still can't get over. I watched that game, right? So, because Washington didn't have a game that day. So, the first drive of that game, the left tackle, number 55, his last name is Sutton III or something.
Thank you for bringing this up. Go ahead.
4 penalties on the first drive. And one of the penalties, he literally took his arm and just punched the tackle from the Cowboys. Now, after the 4th penalty, you could read Dayball's lips saying, "Get him out of there." So the next series, they didn't let him. He was done for the game. They didn't play him again, and he went berserk on the sideline. But I don't know how he could go berserk when he had 4 penalties on the very first drive.
Chuck, I'm honestly, when I saw it, I thought he was high. I said, "This guy's got to be high." He can't. I mean. He went to the penalties were bad enough. He came to the sideline and acted like a Tasmanian devil. He went berserk. I'm like, what is this? So I'm thinking they probably need to take him in that blue tent and have him pee in a cup right now.
Damn.
There's some substance here that you can't use in the NFL during game time.
David, I have to send you that one punch that he had on that tackle.
Hit the guy in the head, literally.
I mean, I've never seen anything like that. Anyway, I thought it was a hell of a game, though. It was very entertaining. I enjoyed the heck out of it. And I'll tell you something, Dak's a heck of a regular season quarterback, man.
Yes. And that's the quote, regular season. That's what I will say. I think that within 2 to 3 weeks, if the Giants' fortunes don't turn around like big time, he'll be out just because a head coach, and I look, I watched the Giants offseason on Hard Knocks. Daboll is one of the most likable people that you can watch. He's such a likable guy, but that doesn't make him a good head coach, right? I mean, but I feel bad for him on the one end, but on the other side, in the words of Janet Jackson, that's the way love goes. I mean, that's just the way love goes.
Larry, there goes the voice of reasoning again. You're right, Larry. I thought his FanDuel account should have been that tackle, but I also thought Russell Wilson's FanDuel account should be checked on that last pass he threw in overtime. I still don't know what the hell he was doing on that pass.
My latest comment during NFL games is, "Whoa, check his FanDuel account because it's something screwy here." All right, let's flip to the Eagles and the Chiefs. Man, it turned out to be a pretty good game, but what a reversal of fortunes. I mean, what a reversal of fortunes. David, what were your observations on the Chiefs-Eagles game?
The Chiefs.
And what's wrong with KC?
The Chiefs are done. And I don't say that disrespectfully. I really don't. They've had as long of a run as any team in NFL history.
Yeah.
You cannot expect them to be great all the time. They're weak on the offensive line now for whatever reason. The defense isn't as strong as it was. Travis Kelce. He's going to change his name soon when he gets married.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to change his name.
Travis Swift is going to be his name. He's done. That's not the Travis Kelce we've grown to admire over the last number of years. He's not there, and it's okay if the Kansas City Chiefs are just average, if they go 9-9 and 8, and I think that's what they're going to do. You're going about 9 and 8, and Patrick Mahomes is no longer the best quarterback in football.
He's just not. Yeah,
he's not, and he's still one of the greats.
Right.
And no one can take away his 3 Super Bowls. No one can take away his underhand passes. No one can take away his flashiness, his poise. But you can only be at the top so long. I say, about 3 years from now, because Tom Brady went through this as well.
Yeah. Chuck.
In the salary cap era, you just can't keep that team together and pay everybody and keep it just can't, it doesn't work out that way. And you could see Kansas City right now, they don't have the talent maybe that they used to. And people are a little older than they were. Their receivers are not exactly the household names. I know the guy Rice is being suspended, one of their receivers. In spite of all of that, they still have a heart in a winning way because they battled the Eagles to the end. I mean, Jalen Hurts, I mean, the numbers offensively for the Eagles, I think they had 200. I think they had 210 yards total offense with Saquon and Jalen.
I think Jalen only threw 100 yards passing.
Right. So they still figured out a way to battle them to the bitter end. And then, of course, the tush push. What can you say? And I know that's been a bit of controversy this week. That got them some critical first downs and a touchdown too.
Teams need to learn how to stop it and shut up.
Yeah, I think that's so. My thing is that Eagles just out physicaled them. They were just more physical, and I think that the Chiefs have a real deficit of skill players. Their skill players they got Kelsey and Mahomes, and I mean, you would struggle to name anybody else. Nobody else breaks through. Nobody else comes up with a big play. And even still, I'm amazed at even now how Kelsey gets open so much. It's amazing to me how he gets open. Now, a former Chief, Tyreek Hill, is on a trading block and nobody wants him. What's up with that?
Yeah. Because he's erratic. He's a nutcase. He's an abuser. There's all kind of problems with him. I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole.
It reminds you of the Steelers.
He's walking to town, and now nobody will even touch it.
It reminds me of the Steelers. What is that Steelers?
Brown.
Antonio Brown.
Oh,
who could really play.
Yeah.
But he was a nuttier.
The fact that they kept that under wraps for 10 years or so, because near the end of his career, he was absolutely insane.
I mean, to the point of taking off his shirt, chest naked on the sideline, and
quit in the middle of the game. He quit in the middle of the
game. Yeah. Again, drug test him. Yeah, drug test him.
Right.
Matter of fact, don't even bother. Yeah, don't even
bother. Larry's right. They lost to the Chargers in Brazil, and they lost to a good Eagles team as well. So,
yeah.
But I do think, and I said this before the season started, when we started to show up, I think Kansas City's window and the 49ers window is about to close.
Yeah.
49ers window closed last season.
Yeah.
Kansas City's is closing, but they got a great coach. He's great in commercials, isn't he? Andy Reid, I love his presence in commercials.
Chiefs. I love that guy. He's so likable, man. I love his commercials, man.
And Kwame is kept. They were 15-2 last year and in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they were 15-2 and in the Super Bowl last year with that same group of people.
Yeah, so they're not exactly dogging it. Okay, here's a question for you. J.J. McCarthy was picked 10th round in 2024 draft. Penix was picked 8th in the 2024 draft. There's a pretty big difference between them. Tell me, just give me your observation. When you think about those two guys right away, tell me what you think. Let's start with McCarthy. David.
J.J. McCarthy's 22 years old.
Yep.
He missed his whole rookie season. He's learning the game. I'm going to give him a pass because the things I saw of him in that winning game, the week 1, in the fourth quarter, was something to behold. He'll get better. I'm not giving up on him yet. Now, Michael Penix Jr., he's got a rocket arm.
Indiana University.
Okay.
Gotta bury the headline here, didn't we?
I slipped that one in right while David on pause. I gotta slip that in on him. Sorry.
He was pretty good at Indiana, but he got really good at Washington.
Yep.
He had the cheerleader for a coach in Indiana.
Yeah. They beat Penn State.
And I remember how he stretched his arm
Yeah.
across the goal line in that run. It was quite
Stay healthy.
not bad,
Yeah.
not bad. And he's got a heck of a future ahead of him if he can stay healthy. But his history has been, he's had every kind of injury you can have.
Yeah,
he's pretty beat up. Yeah. For a young man, he's pretty beat up. Yeah.
Well, he ain't that young.
Well,
no, he's older.
Old.
He's an older, right?
But
he was in college.
He's young relative to us, so we can.
Everybody's young relative to us.
Right. So I think Atlanta has some skilled players. That kid, the running back for Atlanta, is really good.
He is the Punisher.
Oh my God, he's pretty good.
Oh,
so Penix has some weapons if they can keep him protected and healthy, as David alluded to. Now back to JJ. So I had to eat my words last week because because I'm not a JJ guy, and JJ for 3 quarters against Minnesota, or for 3 quarters against the Bears, he looked terrible. He threw the pick 6. It looked like it was over. And then he had this amazing fourth quarter, 2 touchdown passes, and he ran it in the fourth quarter. So he had 3 terrible quarters, great fourth quarter. And in this game the other day, he ain't look good at all. No touchdowns. He didn't show. And you're right, he's young. But that team last year was 14-3 with Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
14-3 in a tough division with the Packers and the Detroit Lions. And I don't understand.
In fairness to what Minnesota is doing, they drafted the guy in the first round. And yes, he was a 10th pick, and I think the 4th quarterback pick or 3rd quarterback pick.
Right.
You gotta see what you have. He missed his rookie season. He's got to play. Sam Darnold has been in the league. This is 7th or 8th year. Yes, he had a great year last year, but he found another team, and he's a starter. He's resurrected his career. He wasn't going to be the long-term starter in Minnesota, no matter what. They would have had to won the Super Bowl for Sam Darnold to have stayed in Minnesota.
See, that logic just doesn't make sense to me. But I understand what you're saying, and people are saying that logic just doesn't.
Minnesota is good, but they're not Super Bowl good. When's the last time they won the Super Bowl?
No, I agree with you, but 14-3, David.
They got their butts beat in the playoffs.
I understand. Okay.
You know what I'm saying. I hear your point. Sam Darnold had a great year last year. Let's see if he has a great year with Seattle and resurrects his career.
Well, they beat the Steelers. Sam Darnold and Seattle beat the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers this weekend.
Well, and so therefore he's found a team. Right. He signed a nice contract. He's solid. He hadn't been solid since he left the Jets.
Right. So anyway, I don't know about JJ. We'll keep an eye on that all year because he's one of those guys that I think, we'll see. And that quarterback and that coach is a quarterback whisperer. And I love the defensive coordinator in Brian Flores for the Vikings, too.
So when I look at these 2 quarterbacks, is the thing about Penix that separates him, I think, is he has the quarterback instincts. He's cool. He's calm. He has his checkdowns are good. He throws all the right passes. So JJ has had 1 out of 8 good quarters. 1 quarter out of 8. That's not nothing. He had 1 game where he was horrible, and the next game he was horrible for 3 quarters, and then he had 1. And the pick 6 that he threw, one of us could have jumped that route and picked that ball. He
didn't throw the ball at Michigan either. Michigan had such a tough offense that ran the ball. He didn't throw and they gave it to that guy Corum or whatever his name was. He didn't throw the ball at Michigan.
But I'll tell you one thing that he's also got to look out for. When you got a receiver like Justin Jefferson, trust me, it's just a matter of time. If they're not getting the ball, these wide receivers, they will throw a tantrum. All I have to say is remember Gary Clark. Just remember Gary Clark.
Oh, well, let me say this hopefully they end this discussion on J.J. McCarthy. Yeah. And I'm shocked that I'm even defending him. He's a national champion. Without J.J. McCarthy, Michigan would not have been a national champion. Period.
And David, a lot of that was grit. He is a gritty, hard-nosed. He's a football player. He's not just a quarterback. He's a football player. So I'll give him that. But I'm telling you, NFL, A couple of those passes, he reminded me of Steamin' Willie Beeman. And when he first went in the game, it's like, man, he's so fast. These guys come out of nowhere. Their recovery speed is incredible. You float one out there, it's done. You're done. So
I'll say this: when he gets to be Michael Penix's age, he'll be good.
That's great. That's the quote of the night right there.
Touche, David. Touche.
Age, he'll be pretty good. That's good. That's great. All right. Quick question on the NFC. This is the last thing on the NFC East. Who is the worst team in the NFC East? Who's the worst?
Who are the teams?
Football Giants.
David, you go first.
Well, it has to be the Giants. I mean, they're really bad. That's why I think they need to start Jackson Dart. You know, let him find out what the NFL is about.
Got it. Chuck.
That little receiver, though, they're bad. They're bad. But
Neighbors.
The kid Neighbors, that's a good little receiver.
He's incredible. All right, I'll stay with you, Chuck. Top 3 teams in NFC.
Top 3 in the NFC?
NFC.
Yeah. So I have Philly. I put the Packers in this week, and my other team was Packers. Tampa Bay. So I had Tampa Bay, Green Bay, and Philly are my NFC teams.
David.
Philadelphia, number 1. Green Bay, number 2. And the Detroit Motor City Lions, number 3.
They bounced back.
Yeah, so they bounced back, but I got to say, I watched Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay, so mine are Eagles, Packers, and the Buccaneers. They just, that comeback, I was ready to celebrate, and I'm telling you, they did it, man.
Fourth and 10.
And Baker Mayfield took a shot. I mean, he flipped. He's like, I'm getting this first down, buddy. I'm getting this first down. So, yeah, I had to go with it. Okay, David, stay with you. AFC, top 3 teams.
Buffalo, the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Indianapolis Colts.
All right.
I knew that was coming, Greg. I knew that one was
2-0. I mean, if you
don't 2-0, and nobody has punted. They have not punted
yet.
Well, they got Daniel Jones,
Indiana
Jones. All right, Chuck.
I have Buffalo, the Ravens, and the Chargers. Keep an eye on that Charger team. They're tough-minded. They're big. They're strong. They're well-coached. They took those Raiders behind the woodshed on Monday night and gave them a beatdown. Geno was terrible in that game. 3 interceptions.
Geno's my man, but he looked bad.
Oh, he did look bad.
But he's getting paid. He's getting paid. He looked good week 1.
We're going to find out about the Broncos. The Chargers a little more this weekend. The Broncos play the Chargers this weekend. I think the Broncos is another team that we have to keep an eye on, and it's in LA. So we'll see how that game.
Broncos are pissed off, I'm sure, about what happened with the Colts.
Yeah.
But you know how I feel about.
I know you don't like that coach too much, right?
No, I don't like him at all.
I despise Sean Payton. I hope the Chargers beat this. I hope they beat him like a pinata. I cannot stand Sean Payton. I cannot.
He's so overrated.
They have a not to get too down in the rabbit hole. They have a safety for the Chargers, number 3. I can't remember his last name, but they gave him the ultimate compliment the other night. They said, the announcer said, I haven't seen a safety. I think his name is Derwin Jackson or Derwin something. Anyway, they said they've never seen a safety this good since Sean Taylor.
Wow.
That's what I said when he said that, man. Because you know how we feel about Sean Taylor here in Washington. Yeah. And this guy was hitting people, making plays. Oh, my God.
And on that, in the early part of the Tampa Bay Falcons game, I got to say, the Falcons were hitting hard. They were crushing the Buccaneers, and it just kind of went away. But speaking of hitting hard, the Falcons were hitting pretty hard in the early part of that game. Yes. So, again, I'm following you, Chuck. Bills, Ravens, Chargers, those are my top 3 in the AFC. It's pretty all those teams are pretty hard to deny. Okay, before we go to college football, anything else on the NFL scene?
Oh, let me see.
We talked about the field goal stuff. So I guess you guys don't have a real strong. I mean, the penalties are probably as normal in terms of you guys. You haven't seen anything that jumped out at you guys. No. No, I think you covered it. Good job. I think you covered it well.
Oh, one thing I did see in watching the Red Zone channel, which I love, Travis Hunter, saw him on both sides of the ball. He's going to be something. He's still a little raw, still got a lot to learn, but Travis Hunter is going to be an impact player if he can get the quarterback to be better.
Yeah,
he's so thin. I worry about him because he's so thin.
Yeah, durability is a thing in the NFL. It's a real thing, and I just rather see him on the defensive side of the ball so much more than the offensive side. I mean, it's just a matter of time before you're going to get your clock cleaned on the offensive side of the ball. It's just a matter of time.
Well, those wide receivers get the big money. Defensive backs sometimes get good money.
Yeah. Most times they don't. All right, college football. Okay. Ohio State is still number one. Are we okay with that?
I am. I'm okay with it.
David, what are you thinking?
They didn't lose.
All right. So Alabama moves from 19th to 14th. Did they redeem themselves beating Wisconsin? Was that a redemption, David?
Not really. Alabama is good. Wisconsin is sometimes good, but to a point. It's good that they won that game against a team that's not chumps. You know, this was a cupcake weekend. This past Saturday was a cupcake weekend. Yeah. Chuck, your team, my mother and sister's team, they played Indiana freaking State. Larry Bird wasn't walking through that door. I think all games against FCS teams did not happen. The FBC, the big schools, the Power Four should not be allowed to play FCS schools or anything lower. It just shouldn't.
Well, Indiana gets a chance this weekend to see if they're real or not. They're 3-0. Illinois is 3-0. Illinois is coming to Bloomington. Illinois is ranked 9th in the country.
Well, wait a minute, Chuck. I don't mean to get on your case.
I knew that was coming. Even over the weekend, you sent me a note about that. So,
Indiana hadn't played anyone. No one.
They run up the score. They don't mess around.
Yeah, not yet. All right. So let me start with you, Chuck. Arch Manning actually got booed by Texas fans this weekend. They literally booed him. It reminded me of Jimmy Clausen in Notre Dame. He actually went to a restaurant and a fan punched him in the mouth. So let's hope it doesn't get to that for Arch Manning. But what are your thoughts on Arch Manning? Did you get a chance to see him play?
I saw some of it. Look, they played UTEP. He was 11 for 24 for 100 yards with an interception and a touchdown. Yeah. I mean, that's just not good enough for Texas because Texas thinks they should win the national championship. So, I mean, he's got time still. We're still early in the thing. He, too, is not a young – I mean, I think this is his third year at Texas, I think.
It is.
Yeah, not yet. He hasn't shown us yet that he's as special as everyone's trying to make him out to be. If his last name wasn't Manning, we wouldn't be –
we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. So, but David, what are you thinking?
Well, let me look at it from this angle. The coach is in a big spot. If Arch's name wasn't Manning, he would be on the bench now. Steve Sarkisian cannot bench him, period. No matter the boos or not. The kid is allegedly making $6.5 million in NIL money. He is the second or third or fourth coming of the Manning family quarterback tree. Steve Sarkisian is stuck with him. Yeah. And he might end up being pretty good. Right. And I feel badly for him because he's looking, he makes Shadur Sanders look like the greatest quarterback of all time.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Well, he has more. He has more physical. Like he can run better than his uncles, and I mean he can move.
He can't run better than his grandfather.
Right, of course. Well, he had to run for his life.
So I watched Brian Kelly have a literal meltdown on the press conference. I don't know what's going on with him other than just the pressure. And the old saying is pressure breaks pipes, and most men. Maybe Brian Kelly is actually a pipe. Chuck, what are you thinking about LSU and Brian Kelly?
Look, they beat Florida and they beat Notre Dame. They're 2-0. I think he's okay. He might be a little odd in general.
So they asked him, they open up the press conference with, you don't seem to be able to run the ball. And that's when he lost. He just flipped out. So he just absolutely lost it.
I think he's okay.
You think he's okay? All right. They got a pretty high standard at LSU. David, what do you think?
I know.
He's not on the hot seat. No. LSU, at least at this point, is fourth in the nation or third in the nation, depending on what poll you look at. I think Brian Kelly's problem is he's too much. When he went down to introduce himself to the LSU faithful, he adopted a Southern accent. How stupid is that?
Yeah, that's just dumb.
I mean, he's done some dumb stuff, but he's a good coach. He had a pretty good career at Notre Dame. He made the championship game with Notre Dame. He's good, but he needs to shut up.
So he's got some pretty good receivers in this league with Neighbors, Jefferson, and the guy from Cincinnati, and then of course he's got Jaden. I think he's okay.
Yeah, I think the number one thing that saves him is a $51.7 million buyout if they fire him. That pretty much means he's not going anywhere, at least for a while. But I think the other thing, and I listened to Cam Newton. Cam Newton said, and I agree with this. He said one thing Kelly's got to get used to is this is the SEC, and it's not just that you win; it's how you win. And so Notre Dame, you have a nice, cordial press conference after you win. In SEC, they're still going to pick you apart, and so maybe he's just got to get used to that. But he's a little temperamental for a college football coach for me. Just a week.
Greg, you mentioned Cam Newton. Cam Newton has turned out to be a pretty good analyst, but take off the damn hat.
The hat. It's the hat, David. It's the hat.
Take off the hat.
Yeah, I don't even get the hat. I don't even get it. I mean, I wish he would explain it. That would help me out a little bit. Just explain it.
I don't know how he stores all those hats. He's got so many hats.
It's just the one that gets me, and it's a cross between a hunting hat, a fishing hat, a cowboy. I mean, it's a lot going on with that hat.
Maybe there's something going on with his hair, and he wants to cover it up.
Real funny, like a year ago, Cam Newton was somewhere, and some people started loud talking, and some guy came after him. They forget these NFL players have orangutan like superhuman strength. He tossed these boys around like children. Like just because he was a quarterback doesn't mean you should grab him. He took care of business quick. Okay. I saw a play against. Now, let me ask. Last thing, Clemson. Let's talk about Clemson. Dabo Swinney, is the dynasty over? Is Dabo going to be looking for a new home soon?
I think again in Dabo's case, he has a long rope too. I mean, he's dominated the ACC. He really has, and this whole new era of NIL and transfers and so forth, he hasn't quite adjusted to it, because he's got these standards and he believes in recruiting the high school kid and developing them and so forth. But I just think he's okay for now. Another year though, if he has a bad year this year and another year, yeah, he would be on the hot seat. But I think he's okay right now.
What do you think, David?
I heard his rant.
Right.
And you know what? He was correct and accurate in everything he said. He just shouldn't have said it. It made him sound desperate. Because how many times has he been to the championship game? 4 times, I believe. He's won 2 national championships. He's put X number of players in the NFL. He's a great coach. Just shut up. At some point, these guys need to keep their damn mouths closed. Just be quiet, win when you can. And maybe Clemson is a little, Clemson fans gotten a little full of themselves.
course.
why don't look back when Clemson was nothing before Dabo? Because Clemson wasn't that good before
Right.
Dabo got there.
Yeah, he totally built the program. I think that when Clemson fans see 0-2, that's the first heartbreak. Losing to LSU is one thing, but losing to Georgia Tech, that's something altogether different, and that's what's got everybody in such a twist right now. And at Clemson, I do think he survives, but to your point, Chuck, I don't think he can take another year of this. One more year of this, and if he finishes this year outside the top 20, obviously they're not going to make the playoffs, but any kind of no significant bowl game appearance, he's got next year to clean it up, or he's going to be on 85 South looking for.
By the way,
it's funny when you get rid of a coach that good. They're not going to find anybody better.
No doubt.
They're just not. Clemson is one of the great programs now, but they're not a historically great football program. Yeah. So whoever would replace Dabo Swinney, unless it's Nick Saban, sorry, you're not going to be as good.
But shout out to Georgia Tech, Greg. That was a good win for them.
Oh, hell of a win.
They showed a lot of heart. And Vanderbilt, too. Vanderbilt beat somebody else that was
South Carolina. Crushed it.
Yeah. Right. Shout out to those. Because David was right. The weekend had some bad games, right? Yeah. But those couple of games were pretty meaningful.
Exactly. Now, last question on college football. I watched the play of Notre Dame. It wasn't a hold. They lost on a last-second play. It wasn't a hold. It was a tackle. I mean, he literally tackled the kid. And listen, does anybody feel sorry for Notre Dame? Probably not. You gotta look high and low to find somebody to feel sorry for the Gold Domers. But that's one play that I just kept thinking to myself, man, when do the coaches get to challenge a call like that? I don't know what the rules. I don't know what the rules should be, but something should be able to be done about that. David, what are your thoughts?
I didn't see the holding call, but I don't feel badly for Notre Dame. Stuff happens, and they're going to be fine. They're a good team, well coached, and for them to lose a game at the end means that they just have to clean up some stuff. Remember, last season they lost to Northern Illinois, and no disparagement of Northern Illinois because it's a good program at a slightly lower level. But Notre Dame made it to the championship game. Now, can they do it with two losses? If it was 16-team playoff, maybe. Right. This year, probably not. But are they going to have a winning season? Of course they are. Right. They're Notre Dame.
It falls under that category, Greg, I said earlier about the referees. Sometimes I watch these things, those calls are made. Sometimes I watch these games, those calls aren't made. And they mean something in the game. These are big calls. We shouldn't be on this show talking about referees.
That's true. Very true.
And once you start dabbling in replay, and once you start dabbling in challenges, the question becomes, where does it end? I mean, where does this stop? How do you control it? So I think it's a tough challenge. All right. Before we wrap up college football, anything we didn't talk about that you guys want to mention?
No.
All right.
I think we're good.
There was a spectacular boxing match on Saturday night. Canelo and Crawford, one of the best boxing matches I've seen in a long time. David, what were your thoughts?
I was enthralled. I like the fact that boxing is going the route of streaming now. 40-some million people around the world saw that fight, and even more will start seeing it because it's on Netflix and it can be repeated. I thought Canelo would lose the fight because he lost to Floyd Money Mayweather a decade ago. I thought he was beatable. His record is 62-2.
Yeah.
And he's older. Crawford is older than him, but Crawford is undefeated, and kind of unsung. Keep in mind, Canelo allegedly will take home, has maybe already taken home, more than $100 million for that fight. Bud Crawford took home 10.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Which I still don't understand.
I would like to take home 10.
Yeah.
I'll take home 1.
Right.
Exactly.
But now will he be tempted to fight again? If he wants 100 and some million like Canelo got, yeah. But he take a cupcake, fight Indiana State.
Yeah.
Enough, David. Enough.
I love it. Chuck, what are your thoughts?
I just thought it was great that we're talking about boxing and a good boxing match and not one of these made up nonsense things, Tyson versus whatever that guy's name was, etc. This was a legit quality match. And quite frankly, Crawford, you can probably say, is the best of this era. Yeah. Canelo is good too, but I think we can say that Crawford was the best of this era.
One thing really quickly to add to that, what Canelo's draw is, he's loved and beloved in Mexico. And as I looked over the fans, boxing, I wasn't a sports guy when I was in journalism and a newsman, but I got the opportunity and the blessing to cover numerous fights, over a dozen championship fights in my lifetime. Got to interview Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, George Foreman, Sugar Ray Leonard. I got to interview him multiple times. But that said, I'm just happy about what I saw, and I think Bud Crawford represented boxing well. I wish I'd have had an opportunity to interview him.
Right.
Yeah. So I thought Crawford put on just a boxing clinic. I thought it was the most strategic and fight and the best tactical execution that I've seen since Mayweather boxed. I mean, it was a really good fight. I thought the judges got it right. It was a really clean fight. And I will say at the end of the fight when they announced the winner, I thought Canelo was just the absolute model of sportsmanship. I thought and that's what you really like to see,
right?
In any of these events. I mean, it was a hard fight. These guys went, and there was one headbutt that was I didn't think it was accidental at first, but now when I looked at it, it was accidental because Canelo's not like that.
Right.
If it was
no, he's not.
I would have said it was, but it was purely accidental. And I think Crawford even recognized that it was truly an accident. But the sportsmanship was great. Canelo's interview at the end was great. And you always know it's a great fight when they start showing folks in the crowd. Everybody that is somebody was at that fight.
Was there. One thing I noticed about the fight, though, and I kind of sensed that Canelo knew he was going to lose that fight early because he's just not fast enough to deal with him. But he was being courteous to Crawford. He was being deferential, and you can't be deferential. And if you're being deferential means don't hurt me,
right?
Please don't hurt me. And he's a good guy, but the crowd was all him, and all those folks came over the border legally.
Legally.
I think, look, David, I think you got it. I think you got it right. I think he recognized early on, I can't beat this guy. So let me just try not to get knocked out here.
Yep.
But I knew it would go to distance. I told the boys in barbershop, it's going to go to distance, but I don't know who's going to win. But I will tell you, Crawford was way more superior in his boxing skills than I thought he was over Canelo.
One quick comment about it. Just like Hagler, when you're a southpaw, I think sometimes it's hard for those guys who don't usually face a southpaw.
Yeah. All right. Let's move to closing comments. We're right. We got a little bit of time left. David, closing comments.
Just a quick comment, and I alluded to it earlier. And again, I don't want to pick on Chuck's favorite school, his alma mater, Indiana. But I'm tired of seeing cupcake games. Yeah. It was a whole weekend full of cupcake games. There's nothing to bet on, nothing to really wrap your. There were a couple of significant games. But they need to stop this. And if we can see the Power Four restricted to playing other Power Four teams, because there's going to be a 16-team playoff eventually, and you can lose a couple of games like Notre Dame has lost a couple of games. and Clemson has lost a couple of games now. Stop the cupcakes. Of course you can beat Indiana State. Of course you can beat Ball State. Of course you can beat Middle Tennessee State. But what are you proving? Nothing.
Yeah, this was not a good Saturday to spend in front of the TV watching college football. It was a good day to be out and about in the streets. Chuck, closing comments.
Two quick ones, and they're baseball related. First of all, I think Cal Raleigh should be the AL MVP. He just hit his 55th and 56th home run. He's tied Griffey for the Seattle record. He just passed Mickey Mantle as the greatest home run season for a switch hitter. And he's a catcher. He's a catcher, a switch hitter, 56, 57 home runs, 120 RBIs. I think he should be the AL MVP. And on the NL side, I think it should be Shohei Ohtani. He hit his 50th last night. It's 2 back-to-back seasons of 50 home runs. There's only like a handful of people that have done that, people like Babe Ruth, et cetera. So I was even shocked that Barry Bonds has never had a back-to-back 50 home run season. So shout out to Ohtani. I think he should be the MVP, and I think the big dumper should be the
Chuck, I'm shocked. You didn't pump up your Indiana University alum.
I know, Schwarber. I mentioned him last week, but Dumper had a couple other home runs this week, so I have to give him a shout out.
There you go. All right, that's all we got time for tonight. Thank you all for joining us on Real Fellas Talk Sports. We'll see you next week.
Great job, Gregory. Good job.